Business. We're joined by William Hildebrandt here in the studio. Market watchers just hearing, Will, about the big news from Twitter.
That's right. Twitter just released its first ever quarterly results since its public offering in November. Since then, shares have climbed 150%. And the big numbers so far from these results are that revenues of $243 million versus $218 million for the same period since 2012. The site has also 240 million users. Now, investors had been hoping for a higher figure, a bit disappointing there. Shares so far have dropped 13% in after-hours trading, so we'll be keeping an eye on that to see what happens when the markets open up again tomorrow. There's also big news in the tech sector from Google. Google and the European Commission may have finally settled a long-running dispute. The row dates back to 2010 when rivals, which include Microsoft, said Google ensured its services were more prominently displayed than its competitors. The Commission accepted Google's third and latest proposal to settle complaints. Let's take a listen to the Competition Commissioner.
In practice, this means that when Google promotes one of its own specialized search services, there will be 3 rival services also displayed prominently on the page in a way that is clearly visible to users.
Well, in New York, the bank regulator has launched a probe into the manipulation of currency markets by more than a dozen financial institutions. Sources say investigators are asking for documents from Société Générale, Deutsche Bank, and Barclays, among others. Some of the banks have been firing currency traders as regulators prepared the investigation. Let's take a quick look at the U.S. markets. Stocks just closed on Wall Street, falling in early trading and moving sideways until the close. There you see all the major indices in the red. Uncertainty reigns over the economy. A survey by ADP said 175,000 private sector jobs were added in January, but many investors are waiting for the government's non-farm jobs report Friday and more upcoming company earnings. Well, let's move now to South Africa. 3 top platinum producers there said wage talks with the local union have broken down. Production has been crippled by a 2-week-long strike that began when around 80,000 union members put down their tools January 23rd. Firms say the strike has already cost the South African economy €265 million. The country is estimated to produce 4/5 of the world's platinum. On to Thailand, where the country's tourism sector has suffered due to anti-government protests. Since mid-January, the opposition has blocked 8 commercial streets. More than 45 countries and regions have issued travel warnings advising their citizens against traveling to the country. That means empty hotel rooms. Thai tourism authorities expect the occupancy rate of Bangkok hotels to plunge 30% to 40% in the first quarter of this year. And finally, you might not be able to get in the back seat of a car with Brigitte Bardot or Ringo Starr, but you could have the next best thing, their car. ARTCURIAL Motors in Paris is auctioning a 1962 Rolls-Royce that was owned by Bardot. It's expected to fetch €360,000. Also going under the hammer is a custom 1957 Chevrolet that belonged to Beatles drummer Ringo Starr. Can't buy me love, but if you got €80,000, you can buy that car. Let's take a listen.
I am in the 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air hardtop coupe, but this one is very special because it has been customized by George Barris, the most famous customizer in the United States for STARR cars, and this one has been done for Ringo Starr.
I don't know about you, Mark, but that sure beats the bike I ride into work every day. Back to you.
Indeed. I never knew that Ringo Starr had a licence. That's news to me anyway. William Hildebrandt with the business and the best cars. Thank you very much indeed.